Hi guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Well, it's that time of year again, and it is the end of the football season, and it's time for the Super Bowl. Every year I make Super Bowl themed snacks because I happen to be a football fan. But even if you're not, a lot of times the Super Bowl is all about the food. So tonight we are going to be making two very easy appetizers, and I am calling these Keto No Sweat Appetizers. So it's going to be very easy. And one of them is going to be using my beloved air fryer, but I also have an alternative if you need to use your oven. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first snack that we are going to be making tonight is going to be keto pizza roll-ups, and it only has 3 ingredients, so that is wonderful, and you're sure to get it on the table lickety-split. So what you're going to need is a baking sheet, and I am using parchment paper this time. You can use a silicone liner if you wish, but because this is a cheese and it's going to be expelling a lot of oil when you're done, I like the ease of being able to just throw away the parchment paper when my recipe is completed. That's why I'm using parchment paper. You definitely need something. You do not want to use foil. You will not get it off. A lot of times you can find parchment paper at the dollar store, and of course it's $1 and that's a really good price, and you can just cut it to fit your baking sheet. I've also found that some companies make the pop-up parchment paper, which is a specific size, and it has 40 sheets that are 10 by 15. So it almost covers your entire baking sheet. So those are also very convenient and handy to use if you can find them. So the 3 ingredients that we are going to use to make these keto pizza roll-ups are cheese. And I'm going to be using already sliced mozzarella cheese. I'm using mozzarella because it is a soft cheese, and of course pizza generally has mozzarella on it. You wouldn't really want to use something like Parmesan or any of your harder cheeses for this, because then you'll get a crisp, and we're going for a roll-up. You could make crisp ones if that is something that you wished, but if you use a hard cheese, you're not going to get the rolling capability. I really like the way that mozzarella performs. I'm also going to be using pepperoni. You could use an alternate meat if you didn't want to use pepperoni, whatever you like on your pizza, or you could go without pepperoni and just do cheese. And then I'm also going to be using some seasoning because I want this to taste like pizza, and so I'm going to be using my Johnny's garlic spread, which is just a combination of Italian seasonings and a little bit of grated Parmesan. So I'm going to do 6 of these at a time because I want them to have enough room. You are going to want to heat your oven to 400 degrees for this dish. So I'm just going to put my slices of cheese on my parchment paper. Okay, now I'm going to sprinkle some of my seasoning down just to give this lots of pizza flavor. And you can use as much as you would like or as little. If you don't have access to this, you can just use oregano or any kind of Italian seasoning that you do have or that you do like. Our next step is going to be the pepperoni, and I'm going to put 4 pieces on each piece of cheese. You can use as little pepperoni as you want, or like I said before, you can omit it. But this is really going to give us some nice pizza flavor. Okay, that is it. Now we are going to put it into our 400-degree oven for 6 minutes. And that is just going to cook our cheese and make it slightly brown around the edges. So 6 minutes in a 400-degree oven. Okay, they've been in for 6 minutes. And now we are going to let them cool for a couple of minutes so that we can roll them up. Okay, so I've let these sit for about 5 minutes, and now I'm just going to start rolling. So they're still slightly warm, but not too hot for me to touch. So there's one rolled up. So I'm just going to put it on my plate over here. And I'm just going to do the rest. And you can see that it has left behind some residual oil from the cheese and the pepperoni. And that's why I prefer using parchment, because then I can just throw it away. So there are our keto pizza roll-ups. 3 ingredients. Now I'm going to be serving these to CJ and the rest of us this evening with pizza sauce. That's how I like to serve these. I usually will heat up a little bit of pizza sauce and then you can just dip them in. I like the Great Value brand, which is Walmart's brand. I have found it has the lowest amount of carbs for pizza sauce that I have found. And you can have 1/4 cup for 3 carbs. So that's what we are going to be having with it. But you could use ranch or blue cheese or whatever you like with your pizza. Okay, for our second recipe in our Super Bowl snacks, I am going to be making bacon wrapped chicken tenders. And I'm going to be doing mine in my air fryer. My air fryer and I are best friends. This is my very favorite kitchen tool right now. But I will have information for you in the recipe if you would like to do it in your oven if you do not have an air fryer. So for my particular air fryer, I need to set it at 400 degrees. So that's what mine looks like on the inside. Okay, so I have my chicken tenders here, and I have 12 of them, 6 on the top and then 6 on the bottom, and I have put mine out on paper towels so I can gather any moisture because mine were frozen. If you have fresh, then you probably can just pat them dry really quickly. The next thing that I'm going to be using on these before we wrap them in the bacon is some ranch seasoning. Now mine is homemade, and I have used my homemade ranch seasoning before in our foil packet recipe, but this will of course be in the recipe, the ingredients of my homemade ranch seasoning. I'm just going to take my chicken tender and I'm going to dip it in the ranch seasoning because we want these to have a lot of flavor before we wrap them in the bacon. Now I'm going to be using just hickory smoked bacon, and it is not the thick cut. I just want regular because we want this to get nice and crisp in our air fryer or oven, whatever you choose to use. So that's why I'm not using a thick cut bacon. So I'm just going to take a chicken tender and I'm just going to put it in my seasoning, just like you would if you were using like breadcrumbs or something like that. And then I'm just going to start at the top of my tender and wrap my bacon all the way around to the bottom, just like that, just like a little mummy. And I'm going to go ahead and place this in the basket of my air fryer and get the other 6 wrapped. I'm going to try and do 6 at a time. Here are my 6 first batch, and I'm going to put them into my air fryer at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Okay, so they're halfway cooked, and I'm just going to turn them over carefully. Okay, I'm going to put them back into my air fryer, and I'm going to cook them for about another 6 to 7 minutes. So there's our first batch. And I'm going to take these out and put in the other 6. So I'm going to serve these to CJ with a little concoction that I made when I made these the other day as a trial run. And I'm just going to mix equal parts of barbecue sauce, and this is the sugar-free G. Hughes, and a little bit of ranch in equal parts. So kind of a barbecue ranch sauce. He really seemed to like it. Okay, it's time for some football and some snacks. And we have CJ supporting our local teams to tell us what he thinks of the snacks.
Yeah, I guess the least we can do is wear their stuff, their merch, since we forked out all the money for it.
Yes.
All right.
So first up is keto pizza rolls, and there's some pizza sauce for dipping.
They're good. You're right. They're better when they're heated up. These have been sitting around for a while. But they're good. Because you don't want to overheat them because
Then it just turns to goo.
they turn to goo. But they're good. And I actually think I like them without the pizza sauce.
Okay.
And those are really simple
Yes.
to make.
Okay, so next up we have the bacon wrapped chicken tenders and some barbecue ranch sauce.
These are really good. Really flavorful. Moist. So the air fry didn't dry them out.
That's good.
Bacon's crispy. And I like the sauce. You know, I like it. But I could eat these without sauce too. But I do like the sauce. I probably like that sauce better than the pizza sauce.
And I guess you could dip the pizza rolls
Just
in that
as far
too.
as flavor. So, yeah. Good. And I think people will like these. And again, people watch the Super Bowl and whether they like the team or not.
Yes.
At least I will.
Yep.
So,
And it's always nice to have snacks, whether you like football or not.
yep. Good job, baby. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the snacks as much as we have. We hope that you will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know when our new content goes live. On Wednesdays, we have Keto Conversations, and that's where we get together and we discuss different ketogenic topics. Sometimes we have food unboxings and taste tests. Sometimes we have grocery store hauls, what we eat on this lifestyle, and sometimes we just talk about general overall keto topics. So we'd love to have you join us. On Sundays is when our new recipes go up. Sometimes they're sweet and sometimes they're savory. So definitely hit the bell so you know when that happens. We are also on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest, and we are also trying a little bit of TikTok. And that is CJ's Keto Kitchen everywhere. If you need any information for this recipe, that's the macros, the ingredients, CJ's taste test follow-up, and any other information you need for this recipe, that is all to be found on our blog, and that is CHOCZERO'S.com. I also plan on putting up another blog post that is going to be discussing all the Super Bowl snacks that we have made in the last several years. So you'll definitely want to check that out as well. So please consider subscribing to our blog. We hope that you'll come back and see us again next time. And until then, be safe and be well.